So let's take a moment to talk about Disney's upcoming movie, Strange World, which is due to come to theaters this Wednesday. Don't get confused with the 1992 movie, Cool World, which was about a man who was wanting to have sex with a cartoon character. This is very different. Strange World is a movie about this biracial family going off and exploring some weird, distant dimension. I've seen the trailer. It looks very exciting. And it looks like a movie that my kids would really enjoy watching. But I hate to break to Disney, this movie is going to flop. It's going to fail. It is not going to do what they want it to do. And I'm going to explain why, and I'm going to explain how they could be doing better. And the best way for them to go forward here is to go backwards. Let me explain. The groundbreaking, glass ceiling shattering element of Strange World is it is going to feature Disney's very first openly gay teenage character. Now, that is a problem. And I'm not saying it's a problem for me as a Christian, it's a problem for America. The problem is for Disney. And I'm going to explain why. Now, we all have been through the big Disney controversy with the whole Don't Say Gay bill that went down in Florida. Now, during that time, Disney put a lot of pressure on Bob Chapek, telling him that he was not doing enough for the LGBTQ community and needed to do better. Now, Bob Chapek's response was actually a very, very good response, but not good enough for them. Now, I have the response right here, and it says, as we've seen time and time again, corporate statements do very little to change outcomes or minds. Instead, we are often weaponized by one side or the other to further divide and inflame. Simply put, they can be counterproductive and undermine more effective ways to achieve change. Now, that doesn't mean Bob Chapek intended to do nothing. In fact, he was doing things for the LGBTQ community, and what he was doing was much more useful. Like, he was changing minds in a very slow but steady way. He had put later, we all share the same goal of a more tolerant, respectful world. Where we may differ is in the tactics to get there. And because the struggle is much bigger than any one bill in any one state, I believe the best way for our company to bring about lasting change is through the inspiring content that we produce, the welcoming culture we create, and the diverse community organizations we support. Now, let's take this into consideration. What's going to happen when Strange World comes out? People who are pro-LGBTQ are going to go there to watch the movie. Now, the fact of the matter is, this movie is a movie for homosexuals. This is not a movie for families, because this is not the sort of movie families want. If you have, a nuclear family, or even a divorced family, and they're like, well, we want a movie for our kids. And you say, okay, what do you want in that movie for your kids? They say, well, I want it to be entertaining, maybe a little educational. I want it to be exciting. I want it to be not annoying, something that's like fun enough that we adults can enjoy it too. I want it to be clean. Nowhere in there are they going to say, oh, we want gay characters, because we think it's like so important that there be gay people in this movie. They're not going to say that, okay? Because they don't care. Unless they happen to be homosexuals raising children, or homosexuals not raising children, just wanting to be thrilled by watching a kids movie with gay characters in it. Unless they happen to have a gay uncle who they think it's important that the kids watch movies with gay people in it for him, even though they could just hang out with him during Christmas break. Okay, this is a very small amount of people who want a gay character. Now, there will be people who don't mind a gay character, but that's not the same as people who want the gay character in the movie. The amount of those people is very, very, very small. So the fact of the matter is, this movie is not a movie made for families. It's just masquerading as a movie for families. Well, that's going to hurt it in the box office. What's going to happen is the families that oppose homosexuality are not going to watch it. They're just simply not going to buy a ticket. And they're going to tell their friends, hey, just let you know, this is in here. And they're going to say, thanks, I won't watch it either. And all those families will not go. And all those kids will not see these homosexual characters. And the families that feel like they're morally superior for going to watch it, they're going to flock over there and go watch it, like all the Christians are flocking to watch The Chosen tonight. But The Chosen is not going to make the money of a Pixar movie. And neither is this movie. It's running off the same demographic idea. Only the people who are already predisposed to want to watch movies with homosexuality in it are going to go out of their way to watch this movie. And that's not a lot of people. Now, this hurts this gay agenda that Disney has. You know, they're biromantic asexual, which is totally a thing and not a contradiction at all. She said that in Disney she had a not at all secret gay agenda. And now she was very excited to be pushing more homosexuality, more queerness, as she put it, into Disney. But that's going to cause less homosexuality and less queerness going out for children to see. So by doing this, she's actually going to shield children. Now, I'm going to give some examples of how Disney has nailed it by presenting homosexuality to children. And I'm going to explain why this was a much more effective way to go about it. Now, I want to turn everyone's attention to the Pixar movie Turning Red. Turning Red came out, let's see, in 2022. Did it really only come out in 2022? No, surely not. Huh, maybe so. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Turning Red came out right before the whole Don't Say Gay bill happened. And it was perfect. Okay? That is the standard homosexuals need to be going for when it comes to their content for children. Because this is the content parents are not going to turn off. Now, if you take Jesus, for example, he said something that was very, very interesting. Every time he spoke to the people, he spoke in parables. And a lot of the times his parables, his disciples didn't even understand. And they approach him, they say, Jesus, why do you always talk in parables? Why don't you just tell them what the heck you're talking about? Just say it plainly. And he said, I'm telling them in parables. I'm speaking in parables. So though hearing, they will not hear. Though seeing, they will not perceive. Now, you might wonder, what's the good of that? What's the point of that? Well, here it is. Like the LGBTQ community, Jesus had people who strongly opposed him and strongly opposed his message. And he had people who were on the fence, and then he had people who were for him. And when he spoke to all of them as a group, he would speak in these parables because let me think how to put this. You're not going to fully love an idea, a revelation, and really grasp it unless you feel convinced that you made it on your own. Okay? That's just how it is. So, you have a concept like homosexuality, and you're on the fence about it. You're a teenager, and some of your family is okay with it, but your mom and dad is not, and you're not sure how you feel about it. Now, you watch Strange World, and what you see is, oh, they're pushing it on us. They're pushing it on kids. What they're saying is homosexuality is good, and it's normal, and it should be celebrated. That's going to turn you off. But instead you watch Turning Red. Now, Turning Red, what's the story? there's a young girl, and inside she's different. And that difference manifests itself when she hits puberty. And her mother is concerned that she will be an outcast and she will not be accepted because of this difference. So she instructs her to hide it. Hide it, hide it. Do not let them see this. Hide it. And so she does, because that's what her mother did. And that's what her grandmother did. And she wants to be accepted and loved by her family and accepted and loved by her community. So she hides it. And she has to learn that it's okay to let it out, to let it go, and that it can be accepted, and that people maybe even should accept it because there's value to it. That's the message of Turning Red. Now you watch that. Take that same concept I had of that same teenager and have her watch Turning Red. We're not stupid. We know what Turning Red is about. It's not about a panda. It's not about a girl who turns into a panda. Okay? We're not stupid. She watches this, and her mind, the wheels in her head turn, and she thinks to herself, that's what it's like for the homosexual. Living in communities and in families and in worlds where homosexuality is not accepted, when they start to have these desires and these needs that are not being fulfilled, and they're told to just hide it and just hide it and just hide it. And when they see her reconciling with her mother, who is a teenage girl, reverted back to being a teenage girl, and she's crying in that bamboo forest, and she goes to her, and they have that moment where she understands my mom isn't a villain for not wanting me to show my panda side. She was just trying to protect me in the way she knew best. Now that speaks, okay? And like I said, we're not idiots. We know what it's really about. This is what Bob Chapek was talking about. That's the sort of storytelling. It's the sort of storytelling that Jesus used, where he knew there were people like the Pharisees who already had a preconceived idea. We don't like what you're going to say. We don't like it. So he just didn't say it. He said a parable. And the parable expressed the same concept in a way they couldn't disagree with. Sometimes even in a way they couldn't understand. They knew he was talking about something they didn't like, but all they're hearing is a story about a farmer throwing seeds on the ground and how some soil was suitable and some wasn't. They didn't understand he was talking about them, but they knew they didn't like what they were hearing. They just couldn't click what it was, but they couldn't just be offended and throw stones yet, because he hadn't said something stone throw worthy. And those who were for what he said, they were like, yeah, I don't know what this means, but go Jesus. And those who were on the fence, they could think about it and come to their own conclusion and go, I get it. I get it. I understand what that parable means. This is what he's referring to. I see it in real life. Same concept. What Disney is doing right now is suicidal. They're running themselves into the ground. But not only that, they're turning people against the homosexual movement. Because now people are going to feel force-fed. We're not coming to our own conclusions. You know, I can imagine next generation, those people are going to be saying, I'm going to see more gay characters. But this generation doesn't want to see gay characters. Not unless it's like really important to the story. Like the vast majority of us, we just want to see good stories. That's all we want. We're not excited about the idea of seeing gay characters. And when movies, entertainment, Hollywood, and studios say, we're going to put a gay character in every single movie, we get tired of it. And we start to think, you know what? I feel force-fed. This feels forced. How is this any good for the story? What does this do? Quit. I know. Okay, I understand. Be nice to gay people. Accept gay people. Please stop. Just quit being an evangelist and be a storyteller. And that is the effect that's not Cool World. I did it again. That is the effect that Strange World is going to have on the audience. And Disney needs to back down on it. And they need to make more content like Turning Red and less content like Strange World and like Lightyear. And instead focus on movies that tell the message in the story without forcing it and letting people come to their own conclusions. That's how you evangelize. But they're not going to do that. They're going to keep doubling down because Bob Chapek, he was wise the way he was going about it, but he's cowardly. And he would far rather let the LGBTQ community run his company into the ground than stand up and say, no, 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 I got this way. This is better. So I'm not going to be watching Cool World. No, I'm not going to watch that either. I'm not going to watch Strange World. And I'm probably not going to watch 100% of things that come out from Disney from now on. And neither is any other conservative and Christian people like me. We're just not going to watch it. And that means our kids, our impressionable children, are not going to watch it. And this is how you're going to lose. This is how you're losing.